Thank you very, very much for that very inspiring keynote address, sir. I will get my panel to ask you a few questions as well, but I think I'll take the privilege of being the host and asking you the first question. You spoke about Digital India as a Mahayagya. I think Satyan spoke about how the moment has come to break out. When do you see this Mahayagya help the Digital India initiative to break out, perhaps?
I think it is already broken out. What is important is to accelerate the process. And in India, Supriya, no change can come without the involvement of people. And what is a matter of great satisfaction for me, not only the world is talking about, Digital India is creating a sparkle of hope in the eyes of Indians. I'll just give you one example. We hold Digital Mela, where we reward people for the transaction they do. I just got this number in the morning. Do you know, till now, 12 lakh Indians have won 1.5 billion, 158 crore because of the lucky draw which we are doing. About, you can say, large number of 5 lakh plus, even shopkeepers have won more than 45 crore. And this CSC I talked about, I asked the CSC to train Indians for digital payment. I gave them a target of 80 lakh for 2 months. Supriya, they trained 2 crore 3,000 Indians.
Much beyond your expectations.
That's what India is about.
The other question, sir, that I want to ask is, and I think you've covered a lot of ground in telling us that how there are no middlemen, and I think that's a big point of Digital India, transparency, more transparent governance. But if I were to ask you, what are the 3 things that you would want to focus on next as far as the Digital India initiative is concerned? What will be perhaps a part of the unfinished agenda over the next few months?
Data is the new oil, okay? And India, 1.25 billion plus big data. And there, I would like to seek some guidance from the August gathering present here. Data is important for policy formulation, for new ideas, but the issue of data privacy is also there. How do we coordinate this competing interest? Okay, because I am very keen, we have ensured privacy. Data must come in public domain to formulate policy better. I think data analysis, data management, is going to become a very, very thriving area of growth, which I see, where I would like to have more ideas from this gathering.
You know, just to put it in perspective before I throw it open to the panel, why are we talking about digital and data at all? Startling revelations that some of the statistics do throw up. Each one of us is actually spending about on an average 4 hours a day on our telephones. We spend 4 hours a week on television and 2 hours a week on print. Apart from that, in 2020, the internet users in India will actually be more than all of G7 put together, the G7 internet users, and which is why it's important to put it in perspective and talk about the digital economy. I'm going to throw it open to my panel, and Satyan, I'll request you to ask the question first. Can we have a mic, please?
Hi, sir.
Hi.
Hi.
Tell me.
I don't know.
It's working.
You know, we come maybe from the private sector to think about how it can enable business development and how it can be a driver of GDP. And you know, last week we were speaking at a conference in China, and the 3 biggest internet companies of China are worth $200 billion each on average. What do we need to do to see the digital economy of India develop businesses of that scale?
First of all, why you underestimate yourself? That's the first thing I'd like to say that. I have great trust in the innovative capacity of Indian enterprise. Private, semi-private, or also public. That's how I see it. You just talked about this great revolution in the gigabyte. That's also an innovation of India. But yes, I totally agree with you. In my understanding today, we have 500 million internet penetration. And the way it is scaled up from 200 million to 300 million to 400 million was amazing for me. I foresee in the coming 2 years, India's internet penetration is going to become something like of a necessary service which every common Indians will urge. And when of the common service center I talked about, let me tell you, Supriya, the case of Bajanti Devi of Bihar. Shunned by her in-laws, completely deprived, suddenly saw hope on the mouse. And she's running a common service center. And when I met her, she has developed a big team of ladies in a very remote village of Bodh Gaya in Bihar. I asked her, तुमको क्या चाहिए बजंती? I called her to Delhi in the Digital India function, and her photograph was bigger than mine. This is how I promote them. हमने कहा बजंती तुमको क्या चाहिए? कहा सर थोड़ा और इंटरनेट दिलवा दीजिए. You know, it was such a moving comment to make. The reason as to why I am telling you that is the big market of India waiting for you. And as a minister, I don't need to tell you people how to grow your internet market. You know it very well. Big market is available. Go and catch it.
And perhaps disruptive entries are perhaps going to make it easy for us. If I may ask Mr. Chandrasekhar to put forward his question as well.
Good morning. First, let me compliment the government on having given a really big push to the digital economy.
Thank you.
Whether it is Digital India or the promotion of innovation or the efforts in the infrastructure or a lot of other such things. There's one area where perhaps there is still some concern, and paradoxically that's one area where both government and industry have the same objective, which is to enable the government to adopt technology at an even faster pace, both technology and innovation. And here I think there have been a lot of challenges, and there is a feeling in the industry that it's still very difficult to do business within the government. GEM has addressed, of course, the goods procurement, but technology services are still a bit of a challenge. And can something be done about that? Industry also has suggested that there are ways in which this could be streamlined.
Surely I get your point. Thanks you for the good comment. We are fast tracking it. I always say government is a big elephant, you know. And let me say something very interesting. In the very first cabinet meeting, our Prime Minister said, we have come with a big surge of hope, and the government should not function in the same manner. And all the ministers must know it. And that's how we work. If in a 2.5 years we have been able to do so much, surely, but let me give you something on a positive note. Today, 85% of the tax revenue of the government has become digital. You know it very well. Non-tax revenue is a problem, which we have to help more. I think business part is concerned, we are a very open government. There is no rent seeking. There is no corruption. There is no extraneous influence. From Sanchar Bhavan to Koila Bhavan, you know it very well. They are completely free from corruption, including my electronic Niketan. And even I have ensured law is also free from corruption, as all the other departments. But any good suggestions we will surely take. We are in dialogue with you. Why not? If the government is such a big player by itself, the government business should also be available for private sector, which we have been doing, we will continue to do that.
Sir, before I throw it to the other panelists, I will take the liberty of asking one question on data. You mentioned that data privacy is an issue. If I were to ask you a very candid question, I think the regulatory oversight is the bone of contention and not so much data privacy. If there's regulatory oversight, people will perhaps be comfortable sharing data. Is that going to be a focus area for you and the government?
Yes, no, but you must understand the larger theme which I flagged to you in this conference. India is a democracy, unlike China, okay? Indians love their freedom, Indians also love their privacy. And as the Minister of IT, let me say very clearly, we are completely in support of freedom of social media, intercourse on the IT platforms, and we salute that. Indian social media is rising, and we are very happy to know that. But what is important is, there is some degree of incongruity between the availability of data and the Indian citizen's interest to maintain the privacy of his own data.
That's right. Yeah.
This is the answer I am seeking. I want to respect his privacy. He will say, why should you want my health record? They are my personal. You can say with equal force, if all the data is available, it will help us reshape our health policy. So these are the competing interests. And I think data management is going to become a big area of growth in India because of the sheer size of Indian population.
You know, sir, I think your government took a controversial, but I think a very, very bold decision with demonetization, and we will perhaps reap the benefits of it in terms of digital economy and digital payments. Are Indians open and are they bracing up to digital payments? Because people were very wary of, sharing their credit cards or debit cards for the matter. But are we seeing the first or early signs of people embracing a digital economy? Because
Just
this is going to be the first litmus
just to
test,
tell
really.
you, Beam app has been launched hardly a couple of months ago. Today, 1.7 crore Indians have downloaded it, roughly. That by itself is a number. My take about India is, Supriya, Indians first observe technology, then they adopt it, then they start enjoying it, and then they become empowered in the process. And just to answer your question, it was third day of the announcement of demonetization exercise. Sitting in the law ministry on Shastri Bhavan, there is a pakoda wala across the road, okay, where employees go. And he had hung a notice board, digital payment is accepted here.
Yeah, that's right.
That's India. So let us trust that initiative. We are doing our best. I would also like the cooperation of all of you in that. And I must compliment your channel, the way you and Times Now in particular have been promoting the cause of digital payment.
Anything that makes the economy and our systems more transparent. Deep, can we have you take the question, please?
Thank you, sir, for that stirring speech. Sir, 2 points on payments. I think demonetization has definitely given a thrust, but payment success rates in the country are actually abysmally low. They're actually in the 80s. We've been fighting this as part of NASSCOM since many years. They moved up from 70s to 80s, which means success rate of someone who wants to pay is actually only about 80%. You can do various things to take it up to maybe 85. Very often it's in 70s. That means you try again, it's a big waste of bandwidth, waste of effort. Work has to be done on the bank side. It has to be mandated by the government. If it's mandated, it will be done. There's no reason someone who has to pay it shouldn't be 100% unless he doesn't have funds. Most of the payments fail because the safe portal or the safe pages of the banks are not made well enough. They are clunky still, or the bandwidth or the server issues are there. So I think this is a big demand. I'll be happy to follow it up with a paper.
I'm very happy. We are also alive to it. My IT department now handles digital payment. Very soon we are going to set up a national digital payment council also at the highest level. We are in touch with the banks, also with the RBI. But I can also tell you the good side of it. This Aadhaar-enabled payment is going to rise in a very, very big way, where at the press of your thumb, for the poor people, ordinary people, payment is done. And I'm very assured to note that large number of banks are coming on that portal. But if there is a problem, you are the man of technology. Find a good answer to it also.
No,
Policy part will do our best. Huh?
Absolutely, we will. So, very much linked to this, I think the other need of the hour is similar to Better Business Bureau, which is perhaps in the US, other places. I think we need a mechanism for trustworthiness. You can call it of credit rating of SMEs, vendors, as well as of people to build trust in the system. See, what happens is people do 90 transactions, they're happy, but those 5 or 6 transactions leave them shaken. Small vendors come, they make a quick buck, the guy doesn't get his goods or the goods are bad. So I think that would probably be also more in the realm of, we can do it as a joint partnership, but that is a big need, that get accredited. And I think it'll get linked perhaps to the grievance cell also, which you're planning. That's a need to help people feel more...
Point is well taken. We will talk about detail about it. But as I always say, it is congregation like these who have to dispel this myth. If 95 is a success, 5 failed, 5 don't overawe the 95 which are successful. I think a big campaign is needed. The government is doing its best. I would like the cooperation of all of you.
Surely. Thank you.
I'm just going to get Rajan Matthews to ask the next question, but before that, can I quickly ask you a question on costs? I mean, we all say that, and digital has made life easy. It's not the same thing to be standing in bank queues or reservation counters. It has made life simple. It's about transparent governance. But is cost eventually going to be the driver for digital? And on that, does the ball really lie as far as the private sector's courts are concerned?
Well, let us trust the judgment of the private sector. The sheer size of Indian economy is the big driver, okay? Today, I don't want to go into the details part of it. I know there will be bank issues, there will be other issues, but the new avenues of commercial future which we are creating for them, a promising future, will surely supplement. See the data as it is rising in India. How from voice, data is the new area of growth. Just in front of my own eyes, how the transformation is taking place. I am coming the 3rd year here. how much digital you have got connected, from Twitter to Facebook to involvement of the people. So I think new areas of growth, promising business case will keep on coming about.
Rajan Matthews, can you ask the next question, please?
Good morning, sir. First of all, I'd like to acknowledge when you were the minister, sir, the very, very significant progress that happened in the Department of Telecommunications. For the first time, we're not complaining about spectrum. We moved issues like spectrum trading, spectrum sharing, e-Aadhaar-based KYC was introduced, sir. So the significant progress and the development that has happened clearly came, and I told you, sir, what we miss is your presence
Thank you for the kind words.
Now, going forward, sir, there are three things you mentioned, sir, affordability, sort of inclusiveness, and the development aspects. If you could, sir, tell us as the industry, because today we are the largest data-oriented network in the world, surpassed even China. So clearly the government is doing something right, the industry is doing something right. Sir, if you could tell us what are the priorities that you see for the industry, specifically the telecom communications industry, sir, and in terms of the whole issue of the financial stress that the industry is facing, if perhaps you could give us some direction as to what the industry should be looking at, the priorities for the government, and what perhaps the government could focus on, sir.
Well, financial stress is the matter which keeps on coming and keeps on going. We want a fair competition, we want a good competition, and the government would like to encourage competition in a fair way. That is our stand very clearly. And I'm happy so many players have come, others will come. But if you ask me clear priority, which I would like the telecom companies and also IT companies, where I personally look forward to, is e-education and e-health, particularly in the rural sector. Supriya, you know I have been an activist for my student life. I have been in charge of 8 states of India. I'm a parliamentarian of some experience now, as a minister in Vajpayee government, again a senior minister now. But the sheer scale of change which I am witnessing as an IT minister of India is phenomenal. India is, Mr. Chandrasekhar, really at a cusp of a big digital revolution. I'm happy about telecom companies. They have brought connectivity, they have brought mobile phone. I wish to applaud you as I did earlier. But this is how I feel. If you are coming into payment banks, good. Keep a window, and this Jandhan digital village which I talked about, I'll be happy to see some of you picking up 10, 15, 20 villages and making it a model village. And once that happens, it will become a movement again. That's what I mean by digital inclusion.
By the virtue of being the host, I'm going to ask you the 2 quick last questions. Because in your speech, you rightly said that it's not just digital India in isolation, it's startup India, it's skill India, all of it is really coming together. So we're seeing a confluence of many initiatives to really move to a digital, more empowered economy. You spoke about failure being the first sign of success in the Indian startup space. I'm going to ask you about something a little more newsy and a case-specific thing like Stazilla. A civil case, people are writing to the government, industry has written to the government to look into this matter, the man is jailed. Is failure really the badge of honor, A? And B, what sort of intervention are you going to make, particularly in a case like this, where there are petitions, the man perhaps is wrongly being tried, is what the industry believes?
First of all, the first approach should be honesty, honesty, and honesty. And since you asked me this question, this is what the great Narayan Murthy told me. And I have great personal regard for him. You know, Supriya, he said, we made certain bad investment in the initial days of our initiative. And we completely lost miserably, including the trust of the shareholders. He said, I went to Mumbai, called all my shareholders, and he said, we are sorry, we made a bad judgment. Trust us again. And all the shareholders said, all right, this honesty has impressed us. I would feel if the startup people are going to take people into confidence, कि हमसे ये गलती हुई है, आगे ठीक करूंगा. I think we all need to learn, and as a minister, I would like to tell the policy maker at the state level, including at the administration level, please don't rush to conclusion very quickly and fasten the guilt. If he's trying to become a startup, if he has undertaking certain faltering steps, don't hold him guilty. That is the first sign of success.
Will we see the intervention from quarters like yourselves on the Stazilla case?
You are
I'm a
being-
journalist. I'm just-
You are being too specific, madam. The Law
Okay.
Minister of India is not going to go into specifics.
Okay, I'm just going to ask you a last question because you mentioned Mr. Narayan Murthy, and I think apart from digital, we also have to see what IT services have done for this country, put us on the world map. They are battling with the H-1B visa issue. To what? And I know policymakers from the US have called on you, people have met you. What is the extent to which the government of India is going to push this issue? Because this seems to be an issue that's hounding Indian IT right now.
Well, we have taken the matter at the highest level. We have conveyed our concern. But let me make one observation here today, Supriya. As an IT minister, I am very proud of Indian IT companies and IT initiative. They are present in 200 cities of 80 countries. Indian IT companies give about $20 billion as tax revenue in America. They serve nearly 75% of the 500 Fortune companies. They have made them competitive and given them good value addition. Indian IT companies don't steal jobs, they create jobs. And they have created 400,000 jobs in America. Others they will also do. And if they are truly global companies, and by the way, backhand in India, Indian IT companies are also helping their own peers in America in creating further values in innovation and research. If that is the contribution of Indian companies, I'm sure the American administration will reflect upon it, that Indians and Indian IT initiative is indeed a great strength for the world. But I am also very positive about it. I see promise in every problem. And the promise I see is, I think, Supriya, Indian IT companies will start looking inwards also in a big way. And the India inside in the field of IT is also looking for their greater involvement after keeping the Tiranga flying high world over. That's how I see it.
On that very optimistic note, sir, we put together our hands to thank you for being a part of this summit and, of course, taking all the questions that you have. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Supriya.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/ETNow.